screen with you. And here we're going to go. And this is the topic this evening. Should you make a splinter bid with a singleton honor, such as an ace or a king? And if you don't know what a splinter bid is, then this talk won't be of much relevance to you, although you may come back to it if you decide to play splinter bids. And we're going to look at the use of splinter bids both in response to one of a suit or as part of Jacoby 2 no trump. So I think many of you are familiar with Jacoby 2 no trump, and in there is an opportunity in response to the 2 no trump to show a singleton or void, very much like a splinter bid in response to one of a suit. And when I've talked about splinter bids or Jacoby 2 no trump, I'm very often asked whether you should make a splinter bid or show a splinter bid with it if it's a singleton honor, the ace or the king or another honor. And if you read up on this subject, you'll see that some bridge authorities recommend that you don't do this, and other bridge authorities don't really mention it at all. So I thought I'd look at some hands and try and see whether it made sense to splinter or not with a singleton honor. So let me just want to make sure everything is working fine. Just hold a second. Yes. Okay, great. So first of all, what is a splinter bid? So a splinter bid in response to one of a major here, you bid 1 spade, is a splinter bid which is a double jump in a new suit. So a jump to something like 4 diamonds here, that if you've agreed to play splinter bids, shows a singleton or void in diamonds, support for your partner's spades, at least 4 card support, and enough points for game, so at least 12 points or something like that. And it's very often useful on a hand like this, even if you've just got minimum points, both you and your partner, fairly minimum hand, you can often reach a slam that otherwise you wouldn't be able to reach if you weren't playing splinter bids. And there are handouts for the relevant topics here on my website, bridgeclass.co.uk. If you click on the handouts link, you'll see links to documents here, and there's a link to a file on splinter bids, and there's one to a file on Jacoby 2 no trump. So do look at those if you want to brush up on this topic. And in the file on splinter bids, it's got this slideshow describing what a splinter bid is, and also saying that the singleton should not be an ace. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then here's a summary of what the splinter bids are in response to one of a major. They're a double jump, so from 1 heart to 3 spades or 4 clubs or 4 diamonds, or from 1 spade to 4 of clubs, diamonds or hearts, or splinter bids, showing support for your partner's major and enough.
Tony,
yes.
Tony, I recollect that one of the rules was that you should have no more than 6 losing tricks in the losing trick count, and you haven't mentioned that in these slides.
No. So when I did this, I think I may have said it's normally a 6 loser hand, but it certainly should be no more than 7 losers as our absolute minimum. You will tend to find that it's often 6 losers because of the singleton decreases the number of losers, but that is another way of looking at it. I would say more generally, it should be enough points for game, whatever you think you need for game. So
okay, thanks.
But yeah, that's another way of looking at it. So let's have a look at the use of a splinter bid. So here, this is the same hand where we opened 1 spade, and when my partner bids 4 diamonds, what I need to do is look at my hand and see how well my holding, especially in diamonds, is if my partner has a singleton or void in that suit. And this is the kind of holding where you have a really good holding in your partner's suit, because your partner's singleton will take care of these two, will take care of two of these low diamonds, and you'll be able to ruff them. And it means that you're expecting most of your partner's points to be in the other suits. So if I have this hand here, even though it's a minimum hand, when my partner bids 4 diamonds, I would be encouraged by that because it's a good fit with my holding in diamonds, and I might well start looking for a slam. Here, for no trump, I'm playing as Roman key card Blackwood, and if my partner responds 5 spades, that is showing 2 key cards and the queen of trump. So my partner basically has got 2 aces, and presumably they're likely to be the ace of spades and the ace of clubs, and they've also got the queen of spades. So I'm quite happy in 6 spades, and indeed, when dummy comes down, if they lead a spade, let's say, we can see that we're in pretty good shape. So if we try to make a plan before we play to trick 1, we can see that how many spade losers are we going to lose? None, I think. In the south hand, we've got no heart losers either because we've got the ace, king, queen, and we've got no club losers either because we've got the ace, king. The only losers are in diamonds, where I've got 2 diamond losers, and I'm going to get rid of those by roughing them in dummy. So that's how I would play this hand. If they lead a trump, I would probably switch straight away to a diamond because I want to be able to ruff twice. And whatever they play now, let's suppose they play a heart, we'll win that one and we'll continue roughing diamonds. There's still a diamond to be ruffed, so maybe I want to come back to my hand, maybe with a king of clubs, and ruff that last diamond. And once I've done that, then I want to turn my attention to drawing the remaining trump. So if I play a spade there, I will maybe try to get back to my hand. And at this point, actually, all the trumps have gone and you can claim your 12 tricks there. So this was a hand where it was relatively straightforward. All you need to do is ruff those two diamonds and you will make 12 tricks there. Do interrupt me if you have a question about that. What I wanted to look at is what would happen if I made a change to the north hand and I moved that ace of clubs to the diamond suit. In other words, if I keep the south hand the same, but I just change the, get rid of the ace of clubs and replace it with the ace of diamonds. Now, what's going to happen now if I splinter, showing, and I splinter with the ace of diamonds? So let's examine this. The south hand is identical, so they're going to bid the same when your partner splinters, and you'll end up in 6 spades. And I hope you can see that 6 spades is not such a good contract this time, because although you've got the ace of diamonds, which means you won't lose any diamonds, you are more vulnerable, especially in clubs here, and there's a possibility of losing 2 club tricks. So if they play in a similar way to last time, if you win the first trick and if you start playing diamonds, you still want to ruff 2 diamonds. So maybe come back to your hand, ruff the first diamond, maybe play a trump back here so that you can ruff your last diamond. All the trumps have gone now. You are still now a bit vulnerable in clubs, and you might try to see if you can establish a heart trick here if the hearts divide favorably. So if they had divided favorably, your 4 of hearts would be good now, but it's not. So you're probably going to fall back on the club finesse, leading a club towards your king. And on this occasion, the finesse fails, and so the opponents are able, well, they may try and take a heart, but at some point they will take another club at the end, and you'll only make 11 tricks on this hand. And as I said, the only difference between this hand and the one where it made fairly easily was that you had a singleton ace of diamonds instead of having your ace as the ace of clubs. And although you might think, you know, the singleton ace of diamonds is sort of quite nice, it's generally much better if your partner's honors are in the same suits as yours. So you can see that with the ace of clubs instead, that fits much better. And having a singleton diamond means you've got no wasted values in diamonds. So this is an example of a hand where splintering with a singleton ace does not work out that well. Do interrupt me if you have any questions. What about splintering with
No, sorry, Tony, what should North have bid then? 4 spades?
We'll look at that later on.
Okay.
But yes, if you're not going to splinter with a singleton ace, then you find another bid. Possibly on this one, Jacoby 2, no trump. But anyway, let's have a look at some more examples, and we'll come to that topic a little bit later. What if instead of the singleton ace, you have a singleton king? Well, if you decide to splinter with that singleton king, and we'll see in a moment, this is not a good idea. South again has got the same hand as before. We'll probably go on and look for a slam. When he bids 4 no trump, though, North responds to show only 1 ace, and so you'd sign off in 5 spades here. But as we'll see in a moment, even 5 spades is going to be a bit problematic, because that king of diamonds is really a wasted 3 points as a singleton. And if you look at the 2 hands together, you can see you're actually in danger of losing a diamond and 2 clubs. So if you make the mistake of bidding 4 diamonds as a splinter with that singleton king, you may well not make even 5 spades. This is how it might go. They might take lead a spade, you might lead a diamond. Of course, that's always going to lose to the ace. And now if the opponent switched to a club, which is a very good thing to do, leading into dummy's weakness, you will lose to the jack and also lose to the king. And you're going to lose those 3 tricks. After that, you can gain the lead, and you'll be able to draw trumps and remaining roughing the last diamond, but you won't even make 5 spades on this hand. And the problem was really caused by North's bid there. Because of that singleton king of diamonds, that hand is really not worth a bid that shows that you want to be in game. I think the North hand with this hand should actually just bid 3 spades, which shows more like 10 to 12 points. Or if you want to count your losers here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The king of diamonds is a loser there because it's a singleton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losers, plus we count an extra half loser for the queen if it's not accompanied by another honor. So this is more like 7.5 losers. And arguably you should just really bid 3 spades, inviting game there, and your partner will probably raise you to 4 spades on this one. So if you have an honor that's a singleton, other than the ace, if it's the queen, the king, the queen, or the jack, you should be aware that those points are quite possibly wasted. In other words, this hand would be pretty much just as good if you had a low diamond instead of that king of diamonds. Okay, so that's how I think this hand should be played, not splintering at all. You're not good enough to splinter. If your hand was a bit stronger, so if we change the North hand to give you another ace, so I'll oh, sorry, have I gone too far there? Yeah, so, okay, sorry, okay, no, sorry, I didn't want to, let me go back to where we were. Yeah, so that's an example there of splintering, wrongly probably with a king. If you had another ace, for example, the ace of clubs, then you could splinter with this hand, but you're sort of disregarding the king of diamonds. You're sort of not treating it as worth much, and you would but so your hand would need to be that much stronger if you were to disregard that king of diamonds. But the king of diamonds singleton is really not worth much there. Let's have a look at another example of splintering, and this is in response to Jacoby 2 no trump. So this is which I hope most of you are playing now. So this is a convention where if you bid 1 heart, your partner's bid of 2 no trump is artificial and shows support for your hearts and enough points for game. And this is a hand where, in response to 2 no trump, I should probably show my singleton by bidding 3 diamonds here. And again, if you're not familiar with Jacoby 2 no trump, the handout on my slide describes how it works, that it's a response of 2 no trump to one of a major, and it talks about how opener rebids in response to that 2 no trump. And here the new suit at the 3 level is singleton or void. So this is a hand where I would show that singleton or void. And if we look at my partner's hand, they have a very good holding in the diamond suit. They have 3 low cards, they have no wasted values. And so they would probably go on and check on aces or key cards here, and we may well end up in 6 hearts here. And if we look at the hand as it's going to be played in 6 hearts, let's see what our plan would be. We can look at this from the south hand point of view, let's say, and we can see we've got some spade losers here, 2 spade losers, but maybe we can rough those in dummy. We've got no heart losers, and we've got just 1 diamond loser, no club losers. So this is a hand where I think I'm going to make this if I can rough 2 spades in dummy. Or you can look at this from North's point of view, making North what's called the master hand, and it comes to the same conclusion. You would play it a slightly different way, because from North's point of view, you've got no spade losers, no heart losers, no club losers, but you have 3 diamond losers, 2 of which you can rough in the south hand. So you can play this either way. They're probably equally good, either roughing spades in one hand or roughing diamonds in the other. So let's win that first trick. And on this hand, I've got so many trumps. I've got 10 trumps. I think I'm going to draw trumps first, because I only need to rough twice. So let's draw 1 round there. There's still 1 trump out. Let's get rid of it. And now I will turn my attention to either roughing diamonds or roughing spades. You can do it either way. If I play spades, I will rough in the king and rough the first spade, come back to my hand, maybe with a club, and rough that last spade. At the end, I'm going to make all the tricks except for 1. I'm always going to lose a diamond, but I should make 12 tricks there. And again, that was a good one to use Jacoby 2 no trump on. And once your partner finds that you show a singleton diamond, that's a good fit for what they've got there. Again, on this hand, if I show a singleton ace of diamonds, it doesn't work out so well. So if instead of 2 no trump, I decide to bid 3 diamonds here to show my shortness in diamonds, my partner will think that's a good fit for them with 3 low diamonds, and they may again end up in 6 hearts. And I hope you can see 6 hearts on this layout is not so good. All I've done between the previous hand and this hand was I moved the ace of clubs to become the ace of diamonds. And now I may well not make 6 hearts. If they lead a diamond, let's say, I've still got the 2 spade losers that I can rough in dummy, and although I don't have any diamond losers now, I may lose 2 clubs. So if they lead a diamond, I will do what I did last time, maybe start by drawing 2 rounds of trumps, then maybe try to rough spades, which I can do. Rough another spade, come back to my hand and rough the last spade. But at some point, I can come back to my hand. I'm going to have to play the clubs. And unless they lead clubs for me, I'm in danger of losing 2 tricks here. So if I lead a low club here, as long as West doesn't play their ace and plays low here, now I'm going to lose 2 club tricks. So whatever I play now, here South might decide not to play the queen, hoping that the ace will fall, but whatever you play, they're going to take another club trick, and you only make 11 tricks here. So again, the fact that this ace of diamonds was a singleton was not that great. It would have been better if you'd had the ace of clubs and a singleton, a low card in diamond.
That's in Jacoby. You are saying that if you had an ace of diamond, you still don't splinter.
Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. So what should this hand bid if you have an ace of diamonds, and if you decided that it's not necessarily a good idea to splinter, then you should make some other response to your partner's 2-no trump. And here, I think the right response is 4 hearts, because if you look at your losers here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. We're going to count this as 6.5 losers because we've got the queen without the king. So it's very much a minimum hand, and I think you should just bid 4 hearts on this hand. Don't try to show that singleton ace, because it may mislead your partner as to how good a fit your hands are together. So yeah, so if you don't splinter, then you could sorry, if you don't show your splinter by bidding 3 diamonds, then you would just look at how strong your hand is in generally, and it's pretty much a minimum hand, and you would be happy to end up in 4 hearts on this hand. And so let's have a look at another situation. Here's one where you've opened 1 spade and your partner splinters in 4 diamonds. So they've got a singleton or void in diamonds. Now, that is not a really good fit for you if your partner has a normal holding of a singleton or void in diamonds. If they've got a singleton diamond opposite your king 10-2, that is a poor fit, because you're going to lose a diamond there, and it's not really helped having the king. You'd rather have the king in another place, in a suit where your partner's got some strength, rather than opposite a singleton. So on a hand like this, if your partner does splinter, you would probably go back to 4 spades, because it's not a really good fit based on what you expect your partner to have. But maybe your partner, if they've decided to splinter with a singleton ace, then it's actually not such a bad fit for you anymore, because you've got the ace and king together. So here's another situation where splintering with the singleton ace sort of misleads your partner. And probably a better thing to do on this hand is not to splinter, but just to use Jacoby 2-no trump as a forcing game raise in spades. And if you did that, if it went 1 spade 2-no trump by north, I've got a poll for you. It's the only poll of the evening as to what do you think South should bid with this hand. So if you're familiar with Jacoby 2-no trump, and you open 1 spade, your partner responds 2-no trump, what do you think South should rebid with this hand? Okay, let me share the results with you. And we've got a tie pretty much between 3 no trump and 4 spades, with 17% saying 3 spades. So let's go back to that. Well, let's go through the responses. And the way I like to remember them is, apart from showing shortness or strength, I remember that 4 spades, a direct jump to game, shows a minimum hand with typically 7 losers. The next step up is 3 no trump, showing about 6 losers. And the strongest bid you can make is 3 spades. So in other words, the lower you bid, the stronger your hand. And if I look at this hand, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points. And in terms of losers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6 loser hand. It's not the really strong hand, and it's not the really weak hand. I'm going to bid 3 no trump here to show a 6 loser hand. And if I do that, if we look at the North hand, once I do bid 3 no trump, North can then work out how many losers they have, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They also have a 6 loser hand, and if you trust counting your losers, that means you have a combined 12 losers, and you should be able to make 6 spades as long as you're not missing 2 key cards. So here I think North should bid 4 no trump, and if South bids 5 spades, that shows 2 key cards plus the Queen of Spades, and that should be enough to bid 6 spades. So let's see if it would actually make 6 spades here, and let's try and make a plan here. So they lead a diamond against 6 spades. I don't think we're going to lose any spade tricks. We have what, 1 heart loser, and we have a club loser. We've got missing the ace of clubs. Diamonds, we probably don't have any losers because we've got the ace and the king there, and another diamond loser we can rough in dummy. So we start off with a heart loser and a club loser. A diamond loser we can rough in dummy, but the clubs should provide us with an opportunity for a discard, because we've got the king 5 opposite the queen jack there, and I should be able to discard on that. So this is a hand where I think I'm going to make it. My plan here is to rough 1 diamond in dummy and to discard a heart on the club. So if they lead a diamond, I will win that. And let's suppose I start by drawing a round of trumps. That's 1 round gone, that's 4 gone. I'll play another round, and that's everyone again has followed to that. So that is in fact all the trumps gone, so there's no need to play another round. And I can afford to do this because I only need to rough 1. So what I'm going to do now is play on clubs, force out the ace. The ace doesn't fall, I'll keep playing clubs. The ace finally comes out, and if they now play a heart, I will win that one, and I can play the queen of clubs, and I can discard a loser. And the loser, of course, is going to be a heart. And I still have a diamond loser to rough, so I'm going to play diamonds and rough the last diamond, and then claim 12 tricks there. So this was an example of a hand where if you had splintered to show with a singleton ace, your partner probably wouldn't have bid a slam, because your king 10 2 opposite a singleton is not a good holding, and it's probably better to use Jacoby 2 no trump here to show a forcing game raise with spade support. Any comments or questions on that? So
Sorry, how does North know that they're not got 2 quick losers in clubs?
yeah, so I think you're right. I think it's not perfect, yes, because your partner could have has shown two key cards, and yes, that I think I could make up a hand where that is the case. Yes. So on the other hand, you're only missing one. You're only missing one key card, and it would have to be, yeah, that would have to be the ace and the king. So you would be unlucky if that happened. But yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if there's another way to investigate slam. Possibly not. But if you, yeah, so yeah, I think that's a good point. Maybe it's slightly risky. But certainly in terms of losers, you do have the right number of losers for you to investigate a slam. It would be nice if you could somehow Q bid here, but I don't think it's possible on this particular layout. Any other comments? So just wanted to summarize really what we've talked about. So should you make a splinter bid with a singleton honor, and probably not a good idea to splinter with a singleton ace. For example, if your partner has 3 low cards operative singleton ace, that's not that great. And it's normally much better if your cards and your partner's honors are in the same suits. And similarly, if your partner has something like King XX or King Queen X opposite your singleton, they will tend to downgrade that holding because they will not expect that you have a singleton ace. So a singleton ace opposite King Queen X could be quite good, but they will assume you're much more likely to have a low card. So again, splintering with a singleton ace may mislead your partner. And if you splinter with another honor, such as a king, queen, or a jack, you should be aware that these points may well be wasted points. So you could splinter, but you should probably have some, extra strength somewhere else, because if you've got a singleton king, that is not worth the value of a singleton and a king. Okay, so those are my conclusions on that subject. There's I'll refer you to this website here. I don't know if you've come across it, bridgebum.com, and they've got a lot of topics there, and there's quite a good article there about splinters. And he also talks about splintering, whether you should splinter with an honor or not, which his conclusion is also that it's probably not a good idea. Does anyone have any other comments or questions they want to raise? Okay, so I'll end the talk there. Thank you all very much. I hope you found that interesting, and I'll just